Right, so now that we've got our blog configured and looking like we need it to look, now we've actually got to go and put some content into the blog. So we're going to have some blog posts. So what we're going to do is we go ahead and over here we click on this little icon. And this is our blog management icon, if you like. So if we look at this, there's a number of things that you can do. And this is important, so let me run through this. We'll look at the blog manager in a minute because that's where all the magic happens. But let's say that you wanted to transfer this particular blog, not to a different site, but just to a different layout within your site. You could go ahead and obviously do that. If you want to deactivate the blog, then you would click this. So if at the moment you are in a situation where you really want to get your site up in a hurry without necessarily getting your blog set up, because maybe you haven't been able to write a number of blog posts and you just need to get the main site up, then what you want to do is you'll just deactivate it over here. And then obviously later on you can come back and reactivate it. Now, if you go ahead and remove it, it literally deletes it, so you can never get it back, right? So my advice to you is don't touch the remove blog button, all right? Just leave that well alone, because by simply deactivating it, it basically takes it out of the picture anyway. So anytime you need to reactivate it, you can go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and look at the blog manager itself. So we'll click on that, and now it actually brings up the blog for us. So let's just get rid of that, and we can go ahead and look at what's basically in our blog manager. So this really gives us the overview of everything that's going on in our particular blog. So at the top here, you can see all news. Now, at the moment, when you get the blog, there's only 3 blog posts. So this is all of the news that you've got. And the nice thing is that you can actually order the news in any order you want. So you can order it via by title, by author, or by date. And if you click on this arrow, you can make it descending and ascending. Right? Then over here, if we click in that, you'll be able to see it's actually the categories. So currently we've got 3 categories set up. So let's go for category number 2. And as I click it now, you can see it brings category 2 up in there. And what it'll then do is it will show us all the category 2 blogs. Now, unfortunately, all of these blogs are category 1, 2, and 3. That's how they've been set up. So it doesn't really help you to just bring them up. But let's say you only had one of the 3, then the other 2 would disappear and you would just have one here. And then, of course, we can go ahead and we can do the same thing with the tags. So if we click on it, it'll bring it up. Right, so this is just a way for you to quickly sort through and to go ahead and to actually find your blog posts. So the first thing we want to do is let's go ahead and publish a new blog. So we call it news. So if we go and we click on the add news, what you'll see is it basically brings up an editor. Now, we've seen these types of editors 100 times, and they really, it's like WYSIWYG. It's really, really simple. What you see is what you get, and we can go ahead and play. So if we click on this here, and as you hover over it, you'll see the little tooltip there. So this is the title of your news. Your news URL will be generated automatically based on your title. So this is really the title of your blog. So let's go click in there, and we'll call it something really, really creative like, oh, how about test blog post? There we go. The next thing is the date. Now you can see at the moment the date is grayed out because this is actually the current date and time that I'm editing this, but I'll show you how to change that in just a moment. Then over here, if we again go and hover over it, here you can enter a custom URL. So if you didn't want your URL to be called test blog post like we created over there, you could put something else in. Otherwise, you'll see it will simply create that particular blog title for us. I like to just call the blog post whatever it is, so I'm not really going to mess around with that. And then over here, you can actually add in the author. Now, if we click the download, you'll see that there's no author at the moment. So if there was, again, as you started to type, so I'm going to just type myself. So you can see if there was a James, it would come up, but there isn't, so I'll just create one. So this author is going to be James, and then if I click on the blue, then you can see it's now populated. Right, so then we can go ahead and we can select our categories. Again, we can click in it, and we're going to type out the first 3 letters. So we need to obviously know what it is. Now you'll remember they were called category 1, category 2, and category 3. It goes ahead and it searches, and obviously it then goes ahead and it creates the category. So if we can go ahead and we can click on the blue if we want to, but we can probably go and create a new category. So let's go ahead and put in new category. We'll just call it new cat, and we'll click on the blue, and now you can see that it actually has 2 categories. We have to scroll now because it's a little bit small, but you can see there's 1 and there's 2. And again, we'll just do the same thing with the tags. So let's go and make this tag and it comes up tag example 1, so we'll go and we'll click that. So this is us just basically going through and now setting up our blog post. So now we actually get to write the blog post, and of course it's going to be written in this big area that we've got here, and again it's the good old WYSIWYG editor. So we can go here and let's go and write some cool stuff. So we'll say test blog post. This is our first effort. Right, now obviously we could put a lot more in, but this will suffice for now. So now again, just like in any editor, just like in Word, you can go and do all sorts of things with it. So you can bold it if you want to, make it italics, you can underline it, you can do a strike through, which looks like that. We'll remove that because that's not quite what I want at the moment. So we'll remove the strike through. If we wanted to just take a little piece of it and go ahead and change the color, we could go do that. So I'll make that little piece red over there. If we highlight the whole thing again, we can go and justify it in the center, or whatever it is we want to do. And there's a whole bunch of things we can do. So let's just go and put it back over there for the moment. As we scroll down, obviously we can continue to populate. We can bring an image in. So if we pull in any image, just like before, it'll take you into the image upload section. If you haven't uploaded anything before, you simply click over here and you would upload. If you already have an image, you can then just go ahead and click on any image. So let's just take this one arbitrarily. We'll click on it and there you go, your image is into your blog post. So you can go ahead and we can basically we can type some more stuff. Now you can see it's obviously picking up the formatting from the last thing that I typed. So of course I can go ahead and I can change it. So well, actually I don't want that to be bold, I don't want it to be italics, and I don't want it to be underlined. In fact, I don't even want it to be red. In fact, let's make this one blue, right? And similarly, you can go ahead and you can insert a video over here. You can insert a GIF if you want to do. Sometimes you may want to have a line, right? So you type something, but it makes sense for you to have a space. You can have a line over here. You can go ahead and you can schedule. So remember we touched a moment ago up here. We can't change this date because that's the current date, but if we want to schedule it for a future date, we can do that, right? So we're on the 29th of August at the moment. So if I click the 30th of August, and of course I can even go and change the time, which I won't bother too much with, but if you click over here, you can see there's the time. So let's go and change this because it seems a little bit silly to have it at 47. So we'll make it pretty much in an hour's time. And we'll say that's cool. We're done with that. And now you can see it's changed it up here. So this means that this blog post is actually going to be posted tomorrow, not today. If you want to star a blog post, you can do that. So what that'll mean is that when the people are in your blog, it will bring that blog post up as a fixture. So it'll be right at the top so that it's very, very prominent for everybody to see. And then the last one here is that you can select a page for this news. If you're going to do that now, we've already got a news page created, so we're probably not going to worry about that. Right, so that's it. So now what we're going to do is, obviously we're not going to publish now because we've decided it's going to be for tomorrow, but if we weren't going to schedule it, we could publish now. But what we'll do is we'll click on the schedule news button. Right, so now you can see over here it's scheduled the news for us. Now if we hover over this, you'll see that there's currently no image in there at the moment because we haven't put one in, but you see the tooltip says, so here you can select the sharing image of the news. If you want to leave it blank, at the time of sharing the news we'll receive the image of the page. So if you share it on Facebook, for example, if you want a different image, you would upload it over here. That's how you would go ahead and populate that. So you can see there's a test blog. We can see that it's scheduled for tomorrow at 1 a.m. So we can do the usual again. We can go and we can edit it, we can start, or if we didn't like it, we could actually go ahead, we could delete it. Right, so if we go to published news, we know that there's only the 3 blogs that are published because this other one is not published. It's not even a draft, in fact, because we've scheduled it. If we hadn't, maybe we just saved it and we were going to come back, it would be in our drafts. But as it's going to go out tomorrow, it's scheduled. So you can see it's over there. We can look at the categories. Now again, we created that one on the fly, you'll remember. The new cat. We can create any categories over here if we wanted to create more categories, and obviously the tags is going to give you exactly the same thing. So that's it. If we just go back to all news, you can see now we've got everything. So these 3 have been created, that one is scheduled, and that, my friends, is as easy as it is to create and publish blog posts.